There seem to be a number of possible scenarios. Right now, my staff is looking over your ticket performance sheets. You there, in the glasses and gray sweater. Who do you think the suspect could be?
I think it's Stanley.
Stanley Larson, you say?
Yes.
Why would that be?
Well, he's broke and he needs money.
Ah, so because he's broke, that would be a reason.
Yes.
And would there be a certain clue to give this away?
He's broke.
Ah, yes, we've established this. You there, in the red and black sweater. Who do you think it could be?
Mr. Fairfax?
Mr. Fairfax? And would there be a motive to his actions?
Yes. The motive would be that he needs the insurance money so that he can run away with Miss, what's her name? Rochester.
So you're saying that the richest man in the hotel would need insurance money
Yes, he does.
to run away with Miss Rochester?
Yes, because I don't think it's his money. I think the money belongs to someone else. Maybe he needed to be with someone who's not so rich.
And would there be a certain clue that would have given this away?
The fact that they're both at the same hotel together. It's
So-
kind of an odd coincidence.
Maybe not a coincidence at all. You, in the red sweater. Who do you think it could be?
Well, I thought it was Mrs. Fairfax.
Mrs. Fairfax? And why would that be?
Well, I think that she disguised her own death.
You think that she disguised her own death even though she's alive?
Empty suitcases. Empty suitcases.
So the empty suitcases would be a clue that would have given it away?
Louise, that's my boss.
I'll keep that in mind.
The empty suitcases gave it away.
And would there be a certain motive for her actions?
She probably has a problem. I think she has a problem.
Maybe she wants to be the richest in the world. You in the white polo shirt. Who do you think the thief could be?
Greta?
Miss Greta White. And would there be a motive to her actions? What exactly would that be?
She was mad because he.
Stanley.
Edward divorced her for.
Greta White is the maid.
Oh, the girl in the burgundy.
Miss Rochester. And would there be a motive to her actions?
She got mad when Edward divorced her for.
So her motive would be resentment then, because she was jealous of what Blanche has. Is there a certain clue that gave this away?
She's trying to make herself innocent.
So you think she's trying to make herself seem more innocent than she possibly is? Thank you for your input. Anybody else with the sign? You, in the blue shirt. Who do you think it could be?
I mean, this white
Do you believe that Miss White was the one that laced the sentence in the tea?
I do, and here's why. Because I believe that Eddie and Arnie are here for a rendezvous. And with Eddie paid her off with another receipt for she didn't recognize how long it was gone. And then it was just too tempting, that necklace was right there.
So you think that Miss Rochester double-crossed Edward in her actions?
Miss White took the necklace after she took Mrs.
Would there be a certain motive to this? Or what was the clue that gave it away?
Because she knew she was asleep. It was just there, it was available. She needed the money.
So she needed the money because of the financial strain that the hotel's in. Thank you. If you guys do have a sign, make sure to please hold it up high. You there, the section. You must have been a waitress. Who do you think it could be?
With also that one maid who didn't get the dress.
So do you believe the Brahams and that one maid were the people that took it away? And would there be motive to any of their actions?
Yes, I believe it was that one maid because when she was trying to spite her or like trying to get that money either way, because she like cost her a dress and well, she didn't have a really fine opinion about her. And I believe it was Ingrid and her husband because Ingrid has been shown to steal like goods from there, like toilet paper and stuff. And what's his name? Her husband stole a pen for no reason. So steal the dress. Necklace, I think.
So you think that she wants to steal everything in the hotel?
Yes.
Well, that would seem very interesting. Thank you. You in the red. Who do you think the thief could be?
I think it was Hamlet.
Hamlet, the cook? And why would that be?
Because Miss Fairfax kept sending back her food, so she felt unappreciated, and she quit.
So because she wasn't appreciated, she began to form a resentment for Blanche.
Yes,
And would there be a certain clue that gave this away?
she quit.
Oh wow. Thank you. Doris, how many signs have you picked so far?
7, sir.
7? Is there anybody else here? Oh. You in a sweater. Who do you think the thief could be?
Ex-girlfriend.
The ex-girlfriend, Miss Rochester?
Yes.
And would there be a thief to her motive?
Well, most of the time, when somebody gets killed, the authority says it's something near you, somebody with motive. She's upset because the guy didn't marry her. That would be her motive.
So because Edward broke off their engagement 10 years ago, you think she's become very bitter towards Blanche?
It sounded like.
And was there a certain point where you realized this?
No, I'm just, my guess, it's her.
Well, we'll get to all your inputs. Thank you all for putting information to us. We'll check in with you after, and we'll put all your input in order to find out who really did it. George, are we done here?
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
Hello there. I couldn't help but overhear you were helping my good friend Chief Whitfield. That was so good of you to help out. I wonder if it's not too much trouble, if you could spare me a moment of your time so that I too could pick your collective brain, so to speak. So then, what about the tour bus group? Don't you think it's suspicious that the whole bus just happened to break down and the whole group just happened to have this neat and tidy alibi? What are you doing? Hello. Here you are. I was just wasting time, pursuing false leads, developing ridiculous theories. Well, I wouldn't call it that.
Come along now, we've got a case to solve. Unless you suppose I complete the investigation myself? I sure do seem to do all the work myself. I'm sure you think this agency should be called the Emma Reed Agency. I do kind of like the ring of that.
Emma, wait. Sorry about that. I better go see if I can patch things up. Right, off I go. Emma, let's talk about it.
Someone at this hotel stealing a valuable necklace? Miranda, don't find the furniture. That'll teach you. It's disturbing to think that the people still here among us. The police knew about the couple over the bright house and went ahead finding the necklace among all the other stolen items.
At least we weren't here when it happened. Otherwise, we would have been under suspicion too.
See, Frederica, there's another good reason for going on that tour. We missed on being questioned by the police.
At least it's more exciting than looking at flowers. We missed all the excitement here.
Oh, it's a bit, it was all that bad. You gotta admit, it was pretty good.
Speaking of foods, remind me to eat elsewhere until Henrietta hires a new chef. Dinner was awful.
Everybody left before dessert was ready, so I bring it to you here.
here so the thief can steal something else from me?
I promise that when this is all over, I'll take you someplace else.
In the meantime, I'll probably die of food poisoning.
Basil, watch where you're going. Mr. and Mrs. Fairfax, here you are. It's been such a hectic day with police and all. I've hardly had a chance to see how you're doing. Please consider your rest of your stay here as on the house.
What a bargain.
Yeah, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Blanche needs a bit of fresh air, so we're going out for an evening stroll. Come along, dear.
Mr. Ed, you're back. Where did you disappear off to? The police have detected listening everything from you.
I didn't want to get involved.
We're all involved. It looked mighty suspicious when you left when it came your turn to question.
All will be revealed in good time.
Mrs. Silverman, go and gather up all your guests and staff. I've solved the case.
You have? Where's the assistant? Miss Reed.
She and I got in a little disagreement about who the thief was. So she quit. She decided to start up her own agency. But without me, she'll never survive.
I see. I'll gather up my guests instead. Do you want me to get those who are on the tour to come with us? Or did you put the step on them?
But you count me for a fool. Where were you last night at 11 o'clock?
That's my business.
Well, I could make it mine. You didn't show up especially this afternoon. Perhaps my thief had an accomplice. Now that would be interesting. Gather around, everyone, and listen to the genius of Phyllis Thornton as she explains the mystery of the stolen necklace.
Thank you. I knew you could do it.
Think nothing of it. It was easy. Just so you know, the police and I struck a deal this morning to see who could solve the case first. As you will testify to later, I was the first to explain a solution to you. Therefore, I win the contest. I have posters and brochures that advertise my agency. If in the future you find yourselves in need of my expertise.
Thornton, just get on with it. We're all anxious to hear what you found.
All right, it was Basil. Me? Don't act so surprised, Basil. It's always the bellhop who's guilty. Or is that the butler? Besides, hasn't it struck you people as suspicious that Basil is clearly a native of Timbuktu, yet she bears a quintessentially British name?
We call her Basil because we can't pronounce her real name.
What is your real name?
I told you we can't pronounce it.
Anyway, that shouldn't matter. Basil was the mastermind behind the terrible plot to steal Mrs. Fairfax's precious necklace.
I'd like to know how she did it.
I'm getting to that. You all testified that you were asleep at 11 o'clock last night, but Basil admitted that she was on the late shift on the front desk. She was the only one with Mrs. Fairfax the whole time. I have 6 people who have testified to this. Mr. and Mrs. Fairfax, as well as the 48. She only pretended to be asleep, just waiting for Mrs. Fairfax to drink the tea that she had laced with a sedative. Then she crept up behind her and stole her necklace.
I knew it all along. Sneaky little bellhop. Did you find my necklace, detective?
No, but I know where we will. Come along, Basil.
Well, I'm glad that's over. Me too. Imagine that bellhop being the crook.
Well, I for one don't believe she did it. I've worked with Basil for 3 years and she would never do such a thing.
I agree with you, Miss Light.
Thank you, Officer Black.
Basil isn't guilty. As usual, Lauren has all the facts mixed up. It was a tough case to crack, but we finally solved it.
We were able to narrow down our list of suspects once we searched the Brightons. Although they had stolen just about everything else in the hotel, they hadn't stolen Mrs. Fairfax's diamond necklace.
We retrieved our missing evidence and recommended that Albert and Hager get some treatment for their compulsive behavior.
Then we looked at the testimonials we had taken to see if we could find any motives. Initially, we looked at financial needs as a motive.
This motive pointed to Henrietta Clifford because of her struggling hotel business. Mr. Larson because of his debt problem. Finances might have also been the motive for any of the hotel staff, seeing as they were underpaid for several years.
We also looked at other motives such as jealousy and resentment. We examined a coincidence that was too unusual to ignore.
The coincidence that Audrey Rochester and Edward Fairfax, formerly engaged, both in the United States, would end up in the same remote hotel in England.
One piece of evidence, a lady's diamond engagement ring, also led us to a conclusion.
Audrey Rochester, you are a thief.
What? You haven't proven anything.
Confess, Audrey. Haven't you carried a resentment towards Edward ever since you broke up your engagement 10 years ago? Don't you feel like all those diamonds, along with all of Blanche's riches, rightfully belong to you? Your bitterness grew over the years, and you finally decided to exact your revenge upon the Fairfaxes.
We found your lady's diamond engagement ring, the one you wear on the little chain around your neck behind the couch. Before you realized it was missing, it was too late.
It was very careless of you to show up your ring to one of the maids.
Audrey, is this true? You still keep the ring I gave you, and now you've gone and stolen my wife's necklace?
Yes, Eddie, it's true. I'm the one who deserves the life Blanche lives. The wealth, the fame, the travel, she took all that away from me.
I can't believe it.
I can. O'Doyle, arrest Miss Rochester. Miss Black, go and search Miss Rochester's room for the missing necklace. There's only one thing we can't figure out, and it's bothering me. There still begs the question about the monogrammed initials SA. Who does it belong to?
I can answer that.
The mysterious Mr. X? Come on, hiding, have you?
You must be SA, Chief.
No, I'm not a say, but I can tell you who is. Stanley Larson, or should I say, Stanley Arson, and Liz, notorious arsonist.
That's absurd.
Excuse me, but I think you'd better explain who you are before you start handing out accusations.
I'm Secret Agent X. I've been following activities of Mr. Arson here for several months. I finally have enough evidence to put him away for a very long time.
You have a handkerchief with some initials on it.
Now you can't possibly incriminate someone like that. And besides, there haven't been any fires yet recently, have there been, Mrs. Clifford?
Well, there have been a few in the kitchen, but that's ever since Basil started cooking.
Mrs. Clifford, if all had gone according to plan, there would have been more than a few kitchen fires, wouldn't there?
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
Mr. X, stop stalling and explain your story.
Chief Wickfield, let's re-examine Henrietta Clifford and Stanley Arson's possible motives for wanting to steal a diamond necklace.
Well, during our investigation, it became apparent that Henrietta Clifford's hotel business was on a financial strain. As for Mr. Well, apparently he was in debt and couldn't pay for his hotel bill.
Didn't it strike you as a bit odd that Henrietta Clifford simply allowed Mr. Arson to stay at her hotel, even though she needed the money?
Well, that did cross